Hello and welcome to another update video about Cardano. In this video we're going to take a look at the Cardano chart and the Bitcoin chart, and today fairly good start to the week. In the top 10 most cryptos are up with the exception of Doge, but most are fairly green. Some are pumping, some are just moving up slightly, which is fine. Quiet day though, but really a positive start to the week. So let's start with Bitcoin. In the last few videos I've shown you here this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave structure, and this remains still in place. So far this sort of prediction, or however you want to call it, remains in place. And from up here where I showed you the wave 3, that wave 4 is still in place. That hasn't been invalidated yet. So basically it could be that we've already seen that wave 4 down here, which would then indicate now, as we are, and this is new, I've put a channel here in place now that we are running in this channel on the Bitcoin chart. This could exactly lead us to the 72k that I've talked about in my previous videos. So that is looking more likely now as we are continuing to go up, and as we've already seen the 66k today. So yeah, this is getting more likely now in my view as we are going up and already come above this high here at 65.5k. So Bitcoin is getting a little bit more strength. Should we drop once more below 62.5k, I think then we can really activate that slightly more bearish scenario, which overall is still a bullish scenario. It just means we have to go the way through 54 to 57k and then up to 72k. But so far that is looking okay now, as we are moving within this channel to that area. Now that channel here has a resistance currently today, and this is the 1 hour chart by the way, but at the moment of 66.4k, and a support level down here at around 64k. So if you see the price dropping below 64k today, you will know that we have broken that that channel. Obviously it's an ascending support line, so the further we trail along here, the higher that support level will go. And at the end of today, this support level will be at, just see, yeah, probably 64.5k. At the moment it is at around 64k. So that's where we are currently with Bitcoin. Again, it is difficult to say at the moment what Bitcoin is doing, but at the moment, because the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pattern is being followed, I'd be again more inclined to say that we now continue to go up as long as we stay in that channel, and that can be observed. Overall it doesn't matter. Overall I think both scenarios are bullish, and overall I think the price will go up in November and December. So there's no reason to sell Bitcoin, for me personally not, and I think it will push the market up in the next few weeks anyway. And that's on Bitcoin. Let's take a look on Cardano, because Cardano is also, it continues to follow Bitcoin. That's also what I told you in the last few videos. Someone told me in the comments today I would never go back and repeat what I say in previous videos and go back on my previous predictions, but I think I do that all the time pretty much. And just to give you some examples, we had, and this is on this chart here, I remember when I told you back here that we actually hit the target level of 181 that I've spoken about already in September. We hit that. There's a lot of things I go back to the ABC correction here. This correction between the two fib levels, this is still in place as well, between the 0.382 and between the 0.618. We are still in this range, so that has remained in place. And I also talked about that I believe that we had the turnaround moment down here when we hit the 181 level, which is also still in place, as we are since then making consistently higher lows. However, and that's just what it is, scenarios still remain in place until we haven't seen, for example on this chart here, Cardano really going up and building an impulsive move to the upside, which we, to be fair, haven't seen yet. This is still a scenario that we could come back into that, and that's just based on Elliott Wave rules, that we could come back into the range between 145 and 181. As I said here, on the 27th of October we hit the target level already, and again that's something I talked about in September already, and I've also talked about since September, even before that, that as soon as we hit that level or get into this target range, I will expect a price increase and an impulsive move to the upside that can take us in a wave 3. Yeah, we are still in the wave 3, in the finalization of the wave 3 into a target range immediately of or as main next price target towards the 450 level at least. Yeah, the wave 3 is up here actually, and I think it could actually be a bit higher. And yet, you know, all these Elliott Wave counts that I've put on the charts, they've actually played out really well. So that's just that, and about that I don't talk about what I said in previous videos. I think I do that. Sometimes I actually think I do that too much. But overall, again, here still, again, the channel, we're following the channel that I put onto the chart as well in earlier videos. So we're following Bitcoin, that's for sure. We're doing that, and I showed you that on the ADA BTC chart, and we're following this ascending trend line as well. Now, I also said in a previous video, I think we should be getting now closer, as we are again above the 20-day moving average, again closer to the 50-day moving average. Now, we haven't really touched it yet, but we've come quite close actually. We've come to nearly $2.10. Now the 50-day moving average is at 211, 212 at the moment. We need to get above that level to really start to shine here, yeah, on the Cardano chart. And there are a few things that make me think, again, just to confirm really, that we have already seen the low overall here on the macro. And I've talked about that before, but let me just repeat that. So on the chart, if we zoom out here, let's go onto the weekly chart. Just to remind you, and that is why I think we've come very, very close to the low, or we've already seen the low. So there isn't much more scope, you know, for a further correction. We could come down once more, yeah, we could do, but after that, I think we will start to shine here. At the moment, I think it's more likely that we don't come down once more. As I also said, it's more likely that Bitcoin now goes up, in my view, basically because we're following this channel. I would say that we've probably really seen that low for Cardano. But the other scenario that I've shown you between 145 and 181 is not, you know, it's not invalidated or anything, so it's still possible. But what I've shown you, you know, two patterns look exactly the same. So this is also still at play, this descending wedge. I think we have broken out of this one, as we did before, as I've circled around here. That was a couple of weeks ago. You know, these areas here where we broke through the 20-day first and then the 50-day moving averages. Yeah, so this is pretty much what we're doing now, breaking through the 20-day and breaking through the 50 potentially this week. That'd be great. And from then on, when that happened, we started to shine here. Yeah, that was back in August this year. Also, what I showed you, and I did tell you yesterday or a few days, already mentioned a few weeks ago, that the MACD is also repeating exactly the same pattern that we've seen in that correction. You know, the pattern looked identical as we do at the moment, what we do at the moment, and also the MACD. So on the MACD, you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 deep red weeks, no, 6 deep red weeks. Look at what we did here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 deep red weeks. In the 7th week, which we are now, of being in the red zone, we have had a recovery, and you can see that the selling pressure is reducing. So here we are there now, and this is also, this was just close, very close, before we really started to move up very quickly. So that is all looking good, and really all points towards a move to the upside. Yeah, just objectively looking at the data, looking at the patterns, looking at the indicators. And another key indicator, and Dan mentioned that as well, I've never really talked a lot about the stochastic stochastic RSI, but it also has now formed, it has formed a low on the weekly. Again, very similar to where we were back in here, where we were back in July. Yeah, I don't use the stochastic very often. I tend to use the RSI. Again, they are very similar. The stochastic is just more volatile. But here on the stochastic RSI, we are now in the oversold range, and we see a bullish crossover here. So last time that happened, again, 1 week later or so, we started to shine here. So that's the stochastic RSI, but we don't even need to look at the stochastic. We look at the RSI, and again, I mentioned that in previous videos as well, that we have come down pretty much to the same level here on the RSI as well, on the weekly, where we have been back before we started to move up in end of July, August. So we are doing the same thing. We have touched the 200-day moving average. Here we haven't touched it exactly, but nearly. Back in July, we've actually come below it, but and that is still a possibility. But looking at how the chart is looking now, with these 3 following weeks now with green candles, that's actually looking quite cool, and really points more towards, you know, we've finally seen the turnaround. But I've been talking about that previously. I just mentioned these things now because yeah, it was mentioned in the comments that I don't talk about my previous sort of predictions, but honestly I do, because I've been talking about from September about further corrections for Cardano, and this is played out actually to the cent. Yeah, we've come down to the 181 level, and you can play out my September videos, and I've mentioned it a lot. So since then we've seen the turnaround again, pretty much as expected. As soon as we hit the 181 level, turning around here, and also I've been saying it already up here back in October, that we are starting to lose selling pressure on ADA BTC, and that we are going to form a bottom here very soon. And again, this has happened now as well. ADA BTC, which indicates that we can, again, I had the question today, will in the next few weeks and months Cardano outperform Bitcoin? And I think so. I mean, I don't have a crystal ball, nobody has. We can only look at past patterns, patterns that the chart is doing at the moment, and what we can read and understand out of it, moving averages, indicators, and so on. Nobody has a crystal ball, nobody can really tell you what's happening tomorrow, but we can look at these indicators and then make an informed decision and get an informed understanding of the chart. And what you can see here is that we are really forming this low here. Yeah, we are forming this low, we are forming this bottom, and it's now moving horizontal, which means in this period where we came down on the ADA BTC chart, Bitcoin has outperformed Cardano. Now we've flattened out, and that is also what we did back in July, August. So you can see all these similarities to back in July, August. And I think really now, together with the back end dropping, the Plutus back end, which is now running on the test net and will be running in the mainnet in the next few weeks, as far as I've understood, or in 2 weeks, we should really have that potentially as well as catalyst for a push in prices and Cardano finally outperforming. And then, then we can potentially even flip Binance Coin again. But overall, that doesn't really matter that much. We're all here for crypto, and yeah, it's looking good. It's looking good, and it's all playing out pretty much as expected on the charts. The only thing, in my view, that I talked about that has not happened since I really started to talk about Cardano is that I expected throughout this correction, I always expected us to get to the 181 level, but what never happened was that we started to follow Ethereum. I did expect that we would have a move up and a move down. Now that didn't materialize. We moved down all the way. But again, we did the same thing that we did here before, and I would expect us now very, very shortly to go higher. And I'm loaded up with Cardano. Again, that's your decision. I'm not telling anyone to buy, but why would you now? Sorry for that, it's outside. But why would you now buy a cryptocurrency which is overvalued, which is overbought? Why would you not invest in one which is promising, which has a lot of DApp starting in Q4, and which is oversold? I'm just asking that question. You can come to your own conclusion. And hope you like the video. A bit of hopium, but I think it's all based on data. It's all realistic, and we can expect the next pump very, very shortly. So I hope you liked that video. If you did, please smash the like button and subscribe. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye bye.